Hey guys, I'm back with another deck profile. Signaling sort of the end of the decade, the end of the year. I guess this is my parting video for the 2010s. And it's a deck profile on the deck I went X1 with at a Christmas locals, I guess. The locals, last locals before Christmas. And it is Kristya, Go Second, Nekroz. You've probably seen Go Second Nekroz and Kristya Nekroz, but this is sort of built to be best of both worlds. And, well, let's get into the deck profile. Alright, so let's start with the monsters. So, first of all, we are running one Nekroz of Trishula. Going second, this card is really great because you can just banish all their stuff, and it has super, really good synchronization with another card in this deck, which is evenly matched, which you also main deck. Yeah, so this, some people play two. I decided to play one. Usually resolve one, but yeah, you could play two, but then I would have to cut other cards, which are I think are necessary to the strategy, so I only play one at the moment. Bryonak, of course. We play three, one OG, and two of the cheap ones, because don't have a lot of money, is Bryonak. Going second, Bryonak can be really good against some decks, because it can either force out negate when it tries to bounce back, and in general, I mean, it's a great searcher. You want to have this card, but it actually has some power on its own when going second, because these are all ignition effects, right? So you're going to have to activate them on your turn, and so going second, naturally, Bryo is better. Then we're on two Colossus and one Unicorn. If this comes to two, we'll play two. I'm not sure about three for this variant, but two at least, because it makes rank 4 plays way better and easier and more consistent to pull off. And then we play one Black Chaos Max. This is a new addition to my version of this deck. The reason is that you want to be able to if you summon this guy, you can Thought, and then if you swing in with him, you can grab back a spell. So either like a Dark Ruler No More, one of the ritual spells, or preferably Preparation of Rites. Really good, really broken. So this guy's good going second. And then finally, we're on three Shallow Slime. This card is insane if you combo it properly with, let's see if I have it here. Incantation Inception. You use this to discard Inception. Spec 1, Inception, shuffle back this. Spec another one, you just plus like crazy. And this is really good. It searches out your imps, and you need to do that more consistently. And yeah, it's just a really good card, so we're playing a few of it. And that's it for the actual monsters when it comes to ritual monsters in the main deck. So let's see our regular effect monsters. We're playing 6 starters in the main. So Manju to search. It also can overlay for a rank 4 play, which doesn't happen all the time, but it does come up. And when it does come up, it's usually really good and can finish games. So let's see. And then we have probably the most powerful one, Gale Dagra. It can go +2. It's an inherent +2. When you summon it, you send 2 Heralds or Entes, and you either pop or search. Really good, but you do lose a lot of life points, so you have to make sure that you can OTK with it, which is easier with this, because we do play Utopia double, and so, like, this is easier to OTK with, but when you use this, you sort of have to OTK. So yeah, it's still really good, so that's why I play it. It's a +2, so I feel like I have to play it. It's like one of the best starters. And then for our incantation lineup, it's a bit weird. We're playing one Candle, 2 Pensive Plume, 2 Talismandra. I might add another Candle, probably not Bookstone though, but I would not cut any single of these, but I might add one more of this. But this was enough, but it did break one game, and so I was complete, and like then my Chalice Slime, everything was completely useless. So yeah, I might make this either I might make this bigger, or just replace the entire incantation engine with something else. For example, Mech Knights, and make Nekroz. But this is not Nekroz. This is Nekroz. Go second Nekroz, traditional during second deck, and with my Spy Planet. So yeah, incantations it is. And then onto our spells. For our ritual spells, we are of course playing the one Inception that I showed before. We are playing 2 Kaleidoscope, 2 Cycle, and 1 Mirror. The reason why we play, let's see here. And the reason, of course, why you have only like 1 Mirror is because only 1 Trishula. And because that's what you use it for. You banish Kloss and you banish Bionac and you make Trishula. And that's the traditional play. However, I've been more and more tempted recently, especially in the Go Second variant, to just summon using Kaleidoscope to summon Trish together with a Klossless. Because Klossless can just back Trish up and like make it easier to just get all their shit to the grave, especially against stuff like Striker. So I've been using that for that. Otherwise, I usually use it for Unicorn to send a Herald and like get a search off or an Entis to pop. But this, as many copies of this as you have Trishulas in your deck. That's the rule. So that's our actual spells that Ritual Summon. And then we're on 3 Prep, because Prep is broken, and 1 Double or Nothing for the Utopia combo. I have bricked so many times on this card, it's insane. In testing, especially on Widro Pro, but Widro Pro is Widro Pro, and like, if you don't draw it, this is great. It's just worth it that much for Nekroz to have a OTK, an easy OTK to pull off, because the deck is not very good at OTKing, and so they need that rank 4 OTK play. So I think this is actually really necessary for the deck. And then we have the actual Go Second cards. So a lot of people main Denko Sekka, but I don't. So I main Dark Ruler No More, Nibiru, and Evenly Matched. All of them at 3. Nibiru helps with OTKing, and it just wipes board, especially at like a locals where you're mostly facing rogue decks. Nibiru is insane. Dark Ruler No More can just essentially makes it safer for Nekroz to go second. So if you combine Dark Ruler No More with Evenly Matched, together with a Trishula, you can potentially wipe their entire board, 1 in the grave, and 1 in their hand, which can usually be completely detrimental to your opponent, and it's not that rare to pull off. I have pulled off this combo a couple times. So yeah, these are, in my opinion, the best ones to main deck, and then I just put Denko in the side. So let's see, so what's the Kristya portion of this deck? Well, that has more or less to do with the side deck, which I will show you soon, but not quite yet, because first we need to take a look at the extra deck. The extra deck is fairly simple. For links, we are on Almirage, Pentastag, and Nephthys. Almirage is simply to link away Gale Dagra. Pentastag is useful for when making Kristya, and I just decided to main it because it's useful every now and then. And Nephthys. This card is great. It's like the BLS link, but it has more protection and it's just a bigger wall, and that is a problem. If you can't kill the opponent with your with a Nekroz Go Second deck on the first turn, or when you start going second, if you can't OTK, you just make this and just sort of sit on it and you hope that they can't out it, because hopefully you have depleted a lot of their resources and it's enough for them not to be able to out this, and then you can just like hit them the next turn instead. So those are my links I run in the main, or extra deck, yeah, rather. For our synchros, we are on Onimaru. This should be the math mech to be optimal. The reason is because Onimaru and math mech were the only level 12s that can be summoned with generic tuners and one tuner, 1 non-tuner synchro monster, or non-tuner monsters. Usually they require specific tuners or specific synchro monsters or whatever, but Onimaru doesn't, and the new math mech doesn't either. So I'm gonna switch this to the math mech. Herald to send, broken card, absolutely wonderful. And you never summon it, but like if you send it, and you can use it for your Kristya lock and everything. To Entis, to send with Gale Dagra or Unicorn and pop. If you need that rather than a search with a Herald, you use the Entis to just pop shit. And then for our Exceeds, we are on a lineup of 6 Exceeds in the main. So Gaia Dragon, Crystal Zero Launcher, or Lancer rather, Afterthought, Nyarla, Utopia, and Utopia Double. So the idea is you can Nyarla something. So if you overlay for Nyarla, you rank it up by discarding one. You make it into water by absorbing one of your waters in the grave, and then you overlay it for Crystal Zero Launcher, and you can like Dark Ruler the opponent's cards, and you can make Gaia Dragon. I never made him, but you can do that. And then you can also use Nyarla to grab a Herald in the grave and like overlay it, do this, detach that Nyarla. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. So it's pretty cool. And then you can also do stuff with these two. These are like the main combo pieces here for OTKing, I think. Utopia Double and like the double package just completely obliterated the Striker matchup. I went 2-0 against my friend's Striker deck because of these two cards. They were just that strong. So these are necessary IMO for the OTK going second version. However, they do conflict with Dark Ruler No More. But like sort of usually if you open Dark Ruler No More, you don't play that combo. You just try to make like Nephthys instead and just like clear their board and then like Nephthys so they can't hurt you, and then you start hitting them for damage. But yeah, this is a pretty solid main. I think this was good for the extra deck. Some changes might be able to like be made, but overall I think this was pretty good for the Xyz lineup, Link lineup, and the Synchro lineup, no doubt. And then we have our side deck. So this is where it gets interesting. So for the side deck, the only real siding cards we have to deal with stuff is Denko and Called. So Called is like for some matchups that use the grave a lot, especially when you clear the board and they have one follow-up play in the grave. Called can be really useful. And Denko is like, you're playing against strikers, side in Denko. Then you have the Kristya stuff here. So Kristya combo, this deck is inherently built to also be able to run the Kristya combo. So you opt to go second, because there's a bigger chance that you will go second than going first in Yu-Gi-Oh! So you opt to go second the first game, and then when your opponent thinks, oh, you're playing go second Nekroz, they'll say maybe, oh, yeah, you can go first. You have sided in Kristya combo, and that's the reason you don't play Extravagance either, is because then you can like have the entire Kristya combo in the deck with your 3 Heralds, 2 Entes, and you just add the Benten, that's 4 fairies, you summon Kristya, you have the Pentastag to like make sure you can OTK, you have the Seravis and Valkyries to protect you. Like, you sign in this, and usually called by the grave so you don't get hand trapped, and then that's like it, and they like, oh shit, I can't, now he's making Kristya instead of just going second, which is insane. So this is like really good. I think this worked out very well, and it did definitely surprise a lot of people. And then last but not least, we have the last 4 cards in the side, because these are what? These are 11 cards here, right? Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, 11 cards. And the last 4 were just different side deck cards. Lamfrinkus doesn't probably need to be in here. I just threw it in because I had so little time to like make that last choice there. Phoenix is pretty good, I think. And Cowboy for time and Evil Sport Mexican Knight is just pretty useful sometimes. I never made this, or this. I never made any of these, but they were like, I think they're probably some matchups you might need them, especially that Gaga Cowboy. That's going to be really clutch in some situations. So overall, the deck was pretty good. I went X1. It was only 3 rounds, small tournament, yes. So that means I won 2 and lost 1. So the first match was against Striker, my friend. I completely obliterated him, 2-0, easy match, GG. The Evenleys put in a lot of work. So did like the Nekroz of Trishula was really good as well. But the one that really aced it was Utopia Double. That just allowed me to OTK 2 times in a row against Striker, which was super powerful. So I highly recommend that. And then second game was against Heroes. Heroes, he misplayed. He could have actually... So the first game went well. I just Nibiru'd him. He basically passed with nothing on the board, and I just OTK'd him. And then game 2, he said, oh, you go first. And I had cited in the Kristya stuff. And I made Kristya with no problem. However, he had 1 Honest Neos but he chained it really weirdly, so I could still use Valkyries in my hand to negate the attack, and then, like, he would have potentially gotten over my Kristya, but he just couldn't, and so, well, he lost instead. So, that was pretty good, and then last game, it was the place I fucked up. So I played against Grenmaju Orkust with the Stromberg cards, and I just had so much problem trying to clear the board of everything. And once I had, you know, invested all my resources into getting everything off their board, because they don't really dedicate that much to the board, but it's still a really good board, which is the problem. It's the same problem that we have with Striker Orkusts with this deck. So I lost the first game, and then I decided to go second the second game as well, which was a mistake. I should have gone first and made Kristya. But yeah, I was inexperienced against that deck, and so I misplayed, and I think that was one of the large reasons why I didn't win over the Orkust Grenmaju Stromberg deck thing. But yeah, overall I was happy with this deck's performance. Some changes, and I'm really looking forward. If Unicorn comes back to 2, this deck will be way better, and then we can play Omega in the extra deck as well, because you can summon 2 Unicorn off of Kaleidoscope and everything. So yeah, I recommend this deck. I recommend to try it. It's really fun to go second with this deck and just try to wipe your opponent's boards. And some people are just so inexperienced against Nekroz that they're not really sure what to do. A seasoned player will of course know how to play against it, but someone who isn't seasoned will not have any idea what they're doing. And yeah, that's basically how the big strength of this deck. Overall, Nekroz has been pretty weak the last couple formats because they had no good like matchups, but this version of the deck can at least hold its own, and I really recommend it. And shout out to the Nekroz Discord and Rebirth of Shien for really coming up with the Kristya concept to begin with, and then I just built this off of some other crap I saw and thought of, and it worked. So well, thank you all. I hope you had a good day, and see you next time. Peace.